see the ball hit the ball.
Oh, heaved into the leg side.
Welcome to the FourPlay Cricket Podcast.
Remember the name. History for the West Indies.
With your boys, Commie and Clinkett.
Let's go.
Here we go. Yeah, man, go on again.
FourPlay podcast.
Stumbling on your words, buddy.
Messing up already. What we going this week, Commie?
We're going CPL. But first, let me speak on something. Make sure to follow Be Social Podcast on Instagram and YouTube so that you can see our content. There's much more content. It isn't only FourPlay podcast, but you can check that out on the AG. But let's go. CPL.
CPL for certain.
You see it started.
Another. Anyways, everything. Once again, last time we talked about cricket. We talked about the Test series. We thought it wouldn't happen. CPL was definitely a major doubt.
Yeah, it was.
Coming up to a month, I think the draft, the location for it would have not been confirmed, but no.
A lot of things would not have been put into place, or a lot of things would have been last minute. I remember watching some snaps and some IG videos of some of the players from the Barbados Tridents training in their own kit.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit shocked. Saying that this looked like a Mickey Mouse setup here.
That was like a couple of days ago. And it was
correct. I actually thought that they would have put on a blue shirt and just go on the field. But then you see the kit actually came, and I was glad that happened. But it just goes to show you how different this situation is in cricket and stuff like that. And not seeing the fans and stuff like that is really, really different to me, boy.
The good thing about watching it, though, they still have like the noises in the stadium, so it still makes it a little easier to watch. But as players, not have, especially the Test cricket, yes, that's one thing, but not having the atmosphere in T20 cricket,
that drives you.
Yeah, that's push you a lot. But speaking about CPL, and as everything, there's some controversial things that will happen around the topic. We could easily start with the draft. Starting out the draft would have happened late.
Yeah, everything was just, like I said, it was just so different. So starting late, you would have had to and I remember speaking to some of the players that would have played last year too, and they weren't aware of some of the things that was happening. So it was just weird and different, and I can't put a word to really describe that situation.
A lot of switching, obviously. Earlier earlier in the year, we would have heard like Quinton de Kock come into the Tridents. So we would have been excited. A lot, right? Yeah. So then when it came to the draft, we were looking to see who would have been added. Obviously, the marquee players would have been announced earlier with like Rashid Khan and those kind of guys, but it still left a kind of taste in our mouth that we were really a bittersweet taste in our mouth. Well, yes, CPL was coming back and we were able to watch some of cricket, and against some cricket, it was still being able to really see the strongest.
Even with the likes of some of the local players. Yeah. When I say local, I mean regional players like Chris Gill, for instance, going to St. Lucia's Dukes, but then opting not to play.
I didn't know how the controversy that went around Gill from early out where the Talawas situation when he went on live and he went at Sarwan and the president. Then we see transferring to the Zooks. Then just before the actual draft, saying he won't be playing this year. Yeah. So we could see a lot of controversy. Obviously, right around the Caribbean Premier League already this year. But to start it happening. But what we want to do is that we start. Well, we could definitely start with looking at the original squads. Yeah. Because the original squads, when I was looking at it, it was really good. We could probably debate on how some of those squads could have been better or so. Going a different way, and then we could obviously look back on the actual squads that are being trained at the present moment.
Some of those squads, one of those squads obviously would have still, wouldn't have changed. That in the Trinbago Knight Raiders, they obviously would have had
the obvious favorites
playing at home as well. You could say that they have the original squad that they would have wanted. The core is still there, and then to have everybody and to play at home, they would obviously be favorites to me.
Very much so. And with the squad that they have, with obviously Pollard, Bravo, Lander Simmons, we don't know Ramney would move on to a different side, but we still got players that Glenn Phillips, Tim Seifert, from
recognized
T20 players that would have done really well around the world in the T20 format. So they have a strong side coming back this year. And the USA player Ali Khan has done really well for them over the years.
He has been a very, 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 very big, I wouldn't say overachiever. Value for dollar.
Very much so. You get him for cheap, and he gives you
value for dollar. Value for dollar. Value for dollar. But having said that, we're looking at let's go to Barbados Tridents.
You want to start with the Tridents, or you want to start with?
Let's start with Bajan, born and bred here. I am. I support local.
Okay, all right. We can look at the Tridents starting out. There's original squad would have been Rashid Khan, Jason Holder, Marcus Stoinis, Harry Gurney from England, Alex Hills, Johnson Charles, Shea Hope, Hayden Walsh Jr., Ashley Nurse, Jonathan Carter, Rema Rifa, Kyle Mears, Joshua Bishop, Naeem Young, Justin Graves, R. Gurbaz, I actually don't know him, he's an overseas player, and Cheyenne Jahangir, he's from the ICC Americas, that was their pick.
He would have still played. So
looking at the Trident side, we know who missing out. You see Marcus Stoinis, Harry Gurney, and Alex Hill missing out for certain. Big players. Alex Hills, yes, he didn't have a good season last year with the Tridents, but still arguably one of the better opening batsmen in the T20 format. Yeah, we know his problems with England, where the instance before the World Cup, he wasn't able to get to showcase his skills, but
he seems to like Barbados because
very destructive.
That instance would have happened here.
But very destructive player at the top. We were definitely missing him. Harry Gurney did really well as a left-arm pacer last year. Value for dollar, as we can say.
Value for dollar.
I mean, he got good money this year, but last year definitely was a value for the dollar. And we see Marcus Stoinis, who had a brilliant, excellent Big Bash, and scoring the most runs. Not being able to break into Australia's side as the opening batsman, but
it's a bit tough.
That would have been a headache that I would like to see. What I would say, one criticism that I would have had with this Tridents team is that the amount of opening batsmen or persons that could open the batting, I thought they could have gone a different route.
You mean having Shea, who would have been
got
opening?
Shea, got Johnson Charles
as a I wouldn't say replacement for like when he played in India. I remember him coming into the Indian series, having to open in the T20, and he did fairly well. He would have been opening for the Tridents last year when he came back from injury as well. And he did fairly well. But
as I said, looking at it, when you see it, the headache that we would have had, obviously you got Shea, you got Johnson Charles, then you got Alex Hills, correct? Justin Graves would have done the job for us, Scotty, last year as well.
JG would have batted more than
and he did it for the West Indies team, the West Indies B team or something, going to the Canada T20
That's a good headache that I would have.
I think it was. I think it could have been an unnecessary headache. The road, you might not agree with me. The road, I thought that the Tridents could have gone instead of picking both Alex Hills and Marcus Stoinis. Well, Marcus Stoinis is also an all-rounder, and it would have worked out. I thought they could have gone for an all-rounder who both spin. So the way how JP Dumini came through for
we always had, but. When you say that, you can say, so that means that you don't fancy the likes of Rashid Khan taking up that role as the all-rounding spinner?
What I would say is, in the end, when I looked at the team and I looked at the makeup of the team, we were stacked in every
category,
right? But we were missing. Well, I can't say we were missing a spinner. I would say we were missing an all-rounding spinner. That could break into the team. So
I mean, when you say A, you must say B. JP Dumini would have obviously played that role last year as the all-rounding spinner. But then just remember, you have the likes of Ashley Nurse, who isn't shy with the bat and who isn't shy with playing his shots. He's a bit of a TV guy. I don't know if he gets shy on TV or not, but when I watch him locally, he is very good. Very, very, very good. I honestly think that he is underrated as a batsman.
All right, so when we look, why I say that is when we look at the team, we got Ashley, who's a spinner. He and Walsh, who Ian Bishop continues to say he's an all-rounder. He's a growing all-rounder. I don't think he's there yet. He's definitely not there.
But
yet.
his batting isn't there yet. But there's potential.
Yes, very much so.
There's potential.
Then you have Joshua Bishop, and then you got Rashid Khan. All who we could say in terms of cricket, they could give you 15 to 20 runs. Yes. However, the way I was looking at it, and as I said, if we had picked a all-rounder spinner who could probably score that 50 and probably give us 2 overs in the middle, I thought it would have been better than picking both Alex Hales and Marcus Stoinis, because Marcus Stoinis could open the body.
No, you see, Clinkett, I'm going to draw a reference to something that you said last time on the podcast.
Go ahead.
Where you spoke on somebody, and I won't call his name as yet, being a very important factor for West Indies cricket. And now that we are speaking on Tridents, you have the same point of view of that spinner being an all-rounder who can give you 50 overs. So you're being a bit cheap, or biased, that is.
Am I being biased in the sense, because now that you brought it up, he was even on my radar, so now you bring it. Now that you have brought it up, that would have been the perfect option for the Tridents. That would have been perfect, but we didn't go that way. And in any case,
it's a bit of a shocker too that he wasn't originally in the original draft. You see, Zooks would have picked him up a little bit, but we'll speak on that when we get to the Zooks.
Definitely when we get to the Zooks. But we could do it this way. We could look at all the original teams, or we could look at the team that would have actually been in Trinidad right now. We look at replacement players. When we look at the replacement players now that would have come in, obviously
Corey Anderson, you have Mitchell Satner,
very much so.
Then you have the elegant Shamar Brooks.
And Mitchell Satner was an excellent boy. In the end, I ended up getting my pick because
you got that.
I got my pick. That's exactly what happened. And as far as looking from the first game, he gave me my value for money already.
Value for the bucks.
Definitely value for the money. So 4 overs, 2 for 18, and then scoring a 20 or something like that. That was definitely
very important. 20
very
guys.
important. So we could see that already. Corey Anderson.
We've had conversations about this Corey Anderson fella.
5 minutes.
I don't know if you would label him your term, Papa Jobby,
but he's 5 minutes of cricket fame. That's the best way to put it. 5 minutes of cricket fame.
I still think that he has something left in his tank.
Right. Yeah, I mean fumes. You could say if he has fumes left in his tank.
I don't know if it's just fumes. I think he has some liquid down there.
Water?
Something else is filling his gas tank. As we were saying, that he isn't driving.
The car moving.
Well, I give him a couple good. Just give him a chance. You have to remember too that we've been struggling with overseas players coming and just performing well in the CPL for Barbados. We've been having
ever since Malik left.
Malik was the best, and Shakib.
Yeah, very much so.
Two of the greatest players that would have played for Tridents in the earlier stages. But then as soon as you moved away from those players, picking the likes of Alex Hales, who wouldn't have really ticked like how we wanted to. I mean, Stephen Smith would have came and he did his little thing, but not to his standards, I would say. You have different players. So coming in, I would say is hard. And I cannot judge him too harshly as yet because he's only had, today.
2 games, yeah. You said 2 games he didn't score any. But
2 games.
Just want it to be known, right, that whatever happens after this podcast and after this episode, I am not a fan of Corey Anderson, right? He could win Tridents, the CPL again. I am not going to be the person that's going to be singing his praises. I will give him his respect as a cricketer, but sorry, he ain't getting more.
I share that same opinion with some of the same cricketers that we watched today, but you don't share that opinion. So your opinion is your opinion. Every piece of cloth has its owner, or in your regards, every garbage has its cover.
It's cover. All right. Well, to be honest, in Corey Anderson's case, that ain't gonna cover. He ain't got no cover on that.
But no, man.
Proper job.
I just think that
proper jobby cricketer.
It is I think that is a well-rounded side now. It has the chance to go on to winning again, to defending its the cup successfully. So I would give the squad a chance, man. I honestly think that we are missing JP Dumini. I would have loved to seen in that squad. You would have gone your pick.
Me personally, well, we can say that the side is very well-rounded. I can say that. But my only take on it is our players, we don't have any persons in or any players in the squad right now that I am too confident, especially the upper order, the
top order.
Top order. I don't see any players in the top order that would have given me the danger. Well, we got Johnson Charles, obviously, but that's a hit or miss, right? That could come off one day or it won't come off.
Pass is best.
Right. I won't say he passed his best. All I can say is he's a hit or he's been a hit or miss for years.
Yeah, but for hit or miss, to me, Johnson Charles, he does his job and he fills his role.
Right, exactly.
But I think,
however, the reason
he's past his best, and I will stick to that. I think that he's past his best.
Well, the problem I had is that when you had the likes of Alex Hills and Marcus Stoinis, like
could back through.
Not when I say only back through, but they could be destructive. Definitely destructive. These are players who could definitely, when they get in, they could give you 100 runs, right? And obviously 180-20, you have to bat really well. Yeah. The team I'm looking at now, while Shea has done it before, we know that Shea is not in the best form at the present moment. We're hoping that he could come in. But looking at the team going in on paper, we didn't have that batsman that could give you that 100 runs on a consistent basis, or give it 1 or 2 hundreds in the competition.
Yeah, but then it goes on how you've set up the side to win. I see on paper we are batting Dapper Kyle Mears. He would have obviously done the job for Barbados Pride, scoring the most runs for Barbados Pride. Now he's coming in. He would have done it for Barbados Pride in the List A format. He's coming in now, doing it for the Barbados Tridents in the T20 format, batting a bit higher. I still think that character he's looked over. Is it over the head?
Yeah.
No? That is my character. I am Kyle Mears, over my head. He would have been selected for the West Indies squad that would have toured to, the big squad that would have been selected to go to England. Yeah. So that is a little bit of good progress. But I think that person, Kyle Mears, Dapper, as they call him, I think that he is the person for me that can fill that role, along with batting. Let's see if we can get Shea batting through the innings, and then you have the destructive players coming out. I think that this Barbados Trident side is set up for Shea to just do his thing.
What I would say is one move that they have made so far, and I like it already, is Jason coming at the order to number 5.
Oh,
I give it. We know Jason could hit the long ball. He got a long handle, long blade. We know he coming in with that. But putting him in front, the likes of like Jonathan Carter, allows Jason to actually get into his game, give him a little time to bat himself in, give himself a couple of balls so that he could. And it as far as I'm concerned, it came off the first game.
It came up, but it came off.
I don't really want to discuss the first game as much because I don't really want to get too deep into it. All I can say is the move for Jason to come to number 5. I like that move. I like that move for certain. Otherwise than that, you're a dapper pick. I like the dapper move as well.
I like the dapper move. Speaking on Jason, years ago, we would have been fighting for opener. This is obviously before Shea times, when we were playing with the different keepers. I was arguing for him to do the same move, but I was arguing.
There was a point.
I was arguing for him to actually open the batting because I think that he's somebody that can take advantage of the power play. He has his strokes. He's a very elegant player. He can go over the top. So I think that his batting is actually set up in the T20 format to do well at the top. I don't know how other people might think of that, but that is just my opinion and my humble opinion at that. So I think that is something that he can fit. I don't know if this is something that West Indies can look into, but given the likes of the squad and the squad depth that we have, may or may not work. But it has been a great move, in my opinion, for the Barbados.
To push him out the order, definitely. Yes. As I said, I think he has a lot to offer to the team. I was listening this morning to the commentary, and Bishop was saying that last year when we won, we didn't get to see Jason with the bat as much. We didn't see him get to fulfill that potential that we know he could do with the bat. Obviously, we went scored him. We would have saw him playing cricket, and we know Jason as a batsman.
Yeah.
Like Jason, he's a good bowler, but we know Jason in secondary school as being a very good batsman.
Very good batsman. Very good batsman.
And since we'd have seen in the last 2 years, he would have come through. He got a couple test centuries, he got test double. We would have seen him coming through, and there was a point in one-day cricket that you can start Jason as batting as well. So now, what I think in the shortest format,
Jason has a 99 batting down the order,
something like that. But I'm not necessarily sure. But what I can say is that in the shortest format, I think we don't utilize him as much, and that would have been, we would have seen him going to World Cups, we would have seen him play the IPL, but mainly as the bowler, not necessarily the all-rounder. Coming down late, he has to get that big hitter role, which I see he has been working on it. However, giving him chance to actually get in and face a couple of balls, then to start firing, I think that you could definitely get more value from Jason as a batsman that way.
I would compare him before to the likes of Dwayne. I remember Dwayne Bravo, that is.
Yes.
We would have given Dwayne a chance
to bat earlier. It's very much so. And we see what he had done in. Correct, there was a period when he was captain in 2014, if I'm correct. He was really doing well with the ball and really doing well with the bat. We were getting full value of the runs.
I remember an instance with him batting with Kirk Edwards in Australia, where Kirk would have scored 100 and Dwayne with a batting right next to him, so that he can do it. But I think that's the type of cricketer that Jason can become for the West Indies and the Barbados Tridents, pride in every cricket team that he plays for. But we may share that opinion, but others may not. However, going on to different squads, I don't want to start. I let you choose now, Clinkett.
I want to go to the Patriots. Quite a lot of controversy was surrounding the Patriots. So we look at the original side. They had Chris Lynn, Ben Dunk, Evan Lewis, Fabian Allen, Rusty Van der Dussen, Sohail Tanvir, Isodi, Sheldon Cottrell, Dennis Ramlin, Riyad Emrit, Dennis Booley, Alzari Joseph, Joshua De Silva, Dominic Drakes, Colin Archibald, John Ross Jagassar, and Sunny Sohal. That's the ICC America's pick.
They've been missing a lot of players from that same squad that you.
If you look at I could call it the
Sunny Sahal, the
squad now. They would have got Riyad Emrit going into the competition, Colin Archibald, Sheldon Cottrell, Joshua De Silva, Dominic Drakes, Ben Dunk. He would have been the replacement player, if I'm correct. Jamar Hamilton, also another replacement player. Alzari Joseph, Nick Kelly, Imran Khan, replacement player. Evan Lewis, Chris Lynn, Dennis Ramlin, John Ross Jagassar, Isodi, Sohail Tanvir. So
the replacement players, in my opinion, they aren't bad. They aren't bad. I wouldn't say they're the best.
I can let you talk.
I know you can share. You don't boast this side.
They
aren't the bad. They aren't the worst, but aren't the best. You look at the likes of Imran Khan, who is Trinidadian, who applies his trade across different teams, and like spinning all rounder. He batted at the top for Trinidad, so he has the potential to actually, not potential, he has the skills to be a batsman or a bowler, and a leggy is actually very, very, very important to T20 side. If you look at the successful T20 sides, a leg spinner is always one that people prize high. But I don't know how to look at that squad. That squad, I don't even know how Jamar Hamilton has not been picked early. I don't know. That's just because he has shown he's played for. Not played, he's been in the squad for... Yes, he has played for West Indies, actually. But he's been in the squad for West Indies. He's played for Leewards. He's captain Leewards. So...
Or the A team.
Yeah, he's actually captain the A team as well. To see him not being picked was a little bit of a shock to me. I think that he actually... I don't want to allow you to speak because I feel that you can just talk proper jobby. But it's okay. Go ahead.
But I'm not allowed to use my colorful language on this podcast, but I would just say this is a proper jobby side. proper jobby side. And if you're a Bajan, you may not know it, but jobby is basically. I'm not gonna explain what jobby means, but I figure you could pick up what jobby means. The older generation would definitely pick up what jobby means, but this is a proper jobby side. First, let me go down the line. You don't have Fabian Allen, right?
Big miss.
A big miss. And we could definitely... I had this discussion. Fabian Allen was not allowed to play CPL because he missed his flight, right? Now, we don't know why he missed his flight. We don't have a clue why he missed his flight, right? But as far as I'm concerned, right, no cricket is playing, 1. 2, it could be for personal reasons. If it's for personal reasons, I have no idea, right? I don't have all the information, the background information, but I can say this. If you offer me 90,000 US in a year like 2020 with COVID-19 happening, right? I give me an airport ready for 2 days. You cannot miss the flight. Like, what possible reason? I mean, as I said, I don't know the reason, but I am missing it. And on top of that, right? You live in Jamaica. Right? You got players that coming from Jamaica to also go to Trinidad. Right? You trying to tell me nobody message you? Like, nobody message you say, like, yo, you're a little late. Like, what happening? Like, nobody had an idea. Right? But that's as far as we'll go with that. But we look at this side, continue along this side. Jamar Hamilton, don't think he's that good of a T20 player. Azari Joseph, very good. Imran Khan, prop utility player, not.
Yeah, utility player.
Yeah, he got play past the best. But one omission that we have not realized, Carlos Brathwaite, not there.
Yeah.
Would have been there last year.
Well, we know I could.
Not there this year, then, and like that would have been a big miss. Cause now you missing both Carlos from last year, and you missing Fabian Allen, who would have done really well for them.
We would have seen how that has been an influence in the first game that they played with them losing to the Barbados Tridents the way they did. They would have obviously had a start and somebody to bat around in Joshua De Silva, who I think is a very, very, very big emerging player. But
still didn't play the soccer game.
He didn't play soccer. We don't know why, but
Ram didn't play the game.
Past his best as well. But anyways, I just think that the side has been set up for that person to bat around, and then for Fabian Allen to come and apply his bang to the
So what would you say is his strength? Where does his strength lie in this Clinkett special team? The bowling or the batting?
The batting. With the likes of Evan Lewis and Chris Lynn at the top, we all know what those two can do. If they come off, that is. So I think that, and then you have the likes of the middle order that come back through. I just think that it's missing the bang to the end. That's just me. It's missing the bang to the end and maybe a bowler. Maybe a strong bowler. I mean, they have Tanvir, who's been applying his trade all across the CPL and doing it well for years. Yeah. For years. And he's seen as the all-rounder who could come in the back and still like away the people ball. But I think that is missing that person, that all-rounder that can come at the back and hit the long ball. And also, Fabian Allen would have
been that person to do it. And with
correct. With the ball, you got that left arm a variation. He's a very, very valuable player to that Clinkett Patriot squad.
We wouldn't have done this before, but we could do it at the end. But in terms of seeding, we have them to fall.
Let's go through. You putting me on the spot.
I definitely put you on the spot. We really got to the fall.
I have them to fall fifth. I won't say second last. I'd say fifth.
Are you trying to be good now?
I think that you looking past the likes of the Chris Lynn and Evan Lewis and what they can do. They could take a game away from you. I think that those two guys are guys that you would have said that you are missing the player like Marcus Stoner or Alex Hills that can back to the top with the Barbados Tridents and take it right through. The aggressive player that can still back through, that can score your 100. That's two of them right at the top. They're two destructive players at the T20 game. Evan Lewis has a T20 100, an international T20 100. He can do it, and he can do it well. So I think that that's why I said that their batting is strong, and I would not put them to be last. I think that they're not going to reach the playoffs. Or I don't think that they may prove me wrong, but I have them to be fifth.
All right, we can take a break here, and then we can come back and we can look at the other teams.
We can allow Clinkett to release his proper jobby.
All right, we back on air.
Coming back, Clinkett, man. You
could definitely look at the
we were speaking about the Patriots.
Oh, you want to continue with the Patriots?
I want to know where you see the Patriots.
I have them. People are not going to agree with me, but I have them to finish last.
I don't agree with you, dear.
I have them to finish last.
But okay.
It's a proper job, you say?
Okay.
Proper job, you say?
That is your opinion and this is mine. I just think that
I know what line you looking at, Godon. I know where you got them fifth. You understand? But proper job, you say. I care what you tell me. Yes, they have Evan Lewis, Chris Lane, obviously good professionals, destructive with the bat. However, I think that missing Fabian Allen, Riyad Emmerich passed his best, Imran Khan passed his best. I think that lineup is not as good as we think. Mind you, they would have done really well with the ball already. Evan Lewis and Chris Lane would not have come off as they want to or as yet. However, I do not think that they have this squad depth that would take them through to the playoffs. Right? With that said, I will move on to the side who I have to finish second last. Right? And I reckon, I don't know where you have them to finish, but I know where I have them to finish. Here we go.
St. Lucia Zooks.
Oh, you know where I'm going.
Because this is a battle. This has to be a battle for me. For those two, that St. Kitts Patriots squad and the St. Lucia Zooks, they were battle for the bottom. But I just don't believe that the Patriots will finish. I have the Zooks to finish last. And I can say that because I believe that Zooks squad has been struggling and has not changed a bit.
All right, so what we could do, I want you to look at the original team, and then we can look at the team that they're putting out on the card now. So the team would have been Riley Russo, Mohamed Nabi, Darren Sammy, Colin Ingram, Andre Fletcher, Kesrick Williams.
Proper jobby player. You're gonna say that.
From South Africa, Shamar Holder. If I got his the pronunciation of his name incorrectly, forgive me. Obed McCoy, Raheem Cornwall, Mark Dial, Noor Ahmad, Kimani Milius, Danico Boucher, Kavem Hodge, Javel Glenn, and Saeed bin Zafar. That is the ICC Americas player. If you look at the team that they're actually putting out onto the park now, it's St. Lucia Zook, Darren Sammy, Saeed bin Zafar, Danico Boucher, Roston Chase, replacement player, Raheem Cornwall. I can't remember. Raheem Cornwall was in the original squad I call?
I don't think so.
Mark Dial, Andre Fletcher, Javal Glenn, Kavem Hodge, Shamar Holder, Zahir Khan, Scott Kuglin, I could be wrong with that pronunciation as well, Obed McCoy, Kamani Milius, Mohamed Nabi, Kesrick Williams, Najibullah Zadran. That is the St. Lucia Zooks team that will be going out onto the park. No, I'm going to allow Commie to give his comments on this Zooks team because
I see we've forgotten a player that's bigger than, I don't want to say bigger than me for sure. A lot of people are bigger than me, but the likes of Christopher Gill. And this is why I think that squad is going to finish last. Because you're missing the likes of that player who can take it all away from you. And I just think that you could correct me if I'm wrong, but the same Colin Ingram. I didn't get a chance to see him. He would have applied his trade for the Trinidadian team, Trinbago Knight Riders before. But I just think that it's missing Christopher Gill.
I think they're missing a lot. I don't. Yeah. The problem with the Zooks, it would have been. I think they went to St. Lucia Stars at a point, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like they've tried so many things over the years, and they just can't get the combinations right when they're picking the teams.
That's why these two teams that we have seeded so low, they continue to struggle.
One of the reasons that
chopped and changed.
One of the reasons that that this Zooks team, because obviously based on where the franchise is located or based, right? You tend to pick certain players. So we see St. Kitts, obviously that would relate to the Leeward Islands. St. Lucia will relate to the Windward Islands. Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, Guyana. We see how it always relates. Me personally, the St. Lucia team, I do not think that their homegrown players are good enough to do the job that they are asking. And two, the stars that they pick don't complement them well at all. And that is a major problem. So we got players, when we look at the team, we got players like Kavem Hodge, who's a pretty decent all-rounder, pretty decent cricketer, right? Kimani Milius, or Ben McCoy, who would have played for the West Indies, Kesrick Williams, who would have played for the West Indies as well. Darren Sammy, we know about Darren Sammy. Lenny Cole, who would have played for the Tridents last year, and Roston Chase. So when we look at these players, you got Shamar Holder and you got Mark Dial. But when we look at these players, right, are these players good enough as homegrown players to get the job done, right? That you really need them to do on a consistent basis in a T20 format. That's the first thing. So yes, you are correct in missing Chris Gill. As much as we like Darren Sammy as a leader, as a player, is he good enough to get the job done on a match-to-match basis that will be able to get the Zook to the playoff series? I don't think so. And I think that is what they are definitely missing. They're missing at least two stars who will come out and perform, who will challenge for the most wickets and who will challenge for the most runs, that could power that side forward. In this side, they have a bunch of players that they either picking them on potential or they're picking them on
what they've done before.
Exactly. So you pick a guy like Roston. Roston, yeah, good player, very important player. But we had this conversation earlier where we say I would have picked him for the Tridents, but I would have picked him for the Tridents with players that could challenge for the most wickets. We got Rashid Khan and Hayden Walsh, right? Or you could challenge for more. You could challenge for most runs. We had like Alex Hills and those guys before, right? But when you look at this side, you got guys who just are players that would be squad players, but not stars. You obviously got Mohamed Nabi, but Mohamed Nabi is a good utility player, right? Come in the bottom and give you 30, 40 runs, can take 2 wickets for you. But is he the player that will star each and every game that will get the Zooks over the line? No, that's what I said. That's what I said. And we know how, yes, Kesrick Williams has done fairly well for the West Indies in the T20 format. But a bunch of players that don't really get you over the line on a match-to-match basis, and they will always struggle.
That guy Kesrick Williams, I don't know. I just think that I don't favor him. Yeah, I've said this a million and one times. I don't favor him. So I would try not to speak too much on him, but I would speak on the Zoot squad as a whole. I think that you hit the nail right on top of the head. Match-to-match basis, I don't think that this squad could do it. And that's why I've picked them to be dead last. Dead last. You have the likes of Darren Sammy, who we've said this term for a lot of the other players as well, past his best. He might be a very good captain, but I think that he's past his best. Andre Fletcher, who can be a very destructive player at the top, with Raheem Cornwall, who we've seen struggle
couple of
years back here playing against Barbados, that is, struggling to actually bat the full 20 overs. Then you have the likes of Mohamed Nabi, like you said, who is a very, 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 very good international T20 player. But how much weight can you put on him as a player? So who when I look at this squad, I ask myself, who is going to score the runs? You saw in the first game where Roston would have scored 50, carrying his bat. But I just see that this team is an entry-level team for some people. So that is why I place them so lowly on my chart. I think that it's a side that I don't think it will challenge much out of the games. It will play and it will come, but it will come short.
The reason that I have placed them above the Patriots, because I think this team could beat the Patriots. I might be reaching a little bit, but I still think though this side is weak on paper, the utility players that they have are still good enough to be able to challenge the Patriots. So I think going head to head, at least I know they will be able to. They got to play each other at least twice. So I know going head to head, I got them to beat the Patriots twice at least.
I am going to split that and say 1-1.
Regardless, so that's why I have them as fifth, and I only have them as fifth because I don't ever have them in my playoff four. However, I've given them this year to put them as fifth, and not a sympathy or sympathy pick. I just think that they're with the likes of Roston, and we see Roston at the beginning of the first game. I think he could have propelled them to at least finish fifth. I am not saying he's good enough to take them to the playoff series. I think he's really good, but this team would take a lot of work. If that said, you have them as sixth, I have them as fifth. Okay. So we know who our bottom two are. We didn't give a seeding for the Tridents. I don't want us to give a seeding to the Tridents as yet.
Let's leave that.
So we go now to, I want to go to the Talibas, who would have finished, they would have finished either bottom of the table or fifth, but they finished outside the playoff
yes.
For last season. And even though they would have been a powerhouse throughout the CPL over a couple of years, I think would have won it at least twice. Twice for certain, or once. But I'm pretty sure they won it twice. So if we look at the team, I want to look at the original team so that we have it. Or I don't have it. Maybe I don't. Oh no, I have it. Okay. So we look at the team. It would have Andrea Russell, Sandy Lamishan, right? Carlos Braffett, who would have moved from the Patriots to the Talibas, Rovman Powell, Tabriz Shamsi, Glenn Phillips, Chadwick Walton, O'Shane Thomas, Asif Ali, Fida Edwards, Preston McSween, Andrew McCarty, Nicholas Curtin, Javier Royal, Nkrumah Bonner, Versami Pamal, Ryan Prasad. That would have been the original side. And we look at the team now. Rovman Powell is the captain. Big move.
Big move. He would have gotten last year too.
Asif Ali, Jameer Blackwood, he would have come in to replace one of the players. I'm not sure. Either Andrew McCarthy for certain, he replaced. Nkrumah Bonner, Carlos Braffett, Fida Edwards, Nicholas Curtin, Sandy Lamishan, Ramal Lewis would have come in as well. Preston McSween, Versami Pamal, Ryan Prasad, Glenn Phillips, Andrea Russell, O'Shane Thomas, Mujib Uraman, and Chadwick Walton.
Yeah, that I remember you said McCarthy. Andrew McCarthy, who would have been a very, 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 very. I would have got him booked for my dollar if I was a Jamaica Talibas fan for Andrew McCarthy, because I think that he can bat through, and he's just that nitty-gritty player to me. But you would have known the reason that he
would have tested positive for
Bully would have tested positive, and being that he was around him, he would have obviously had to skip the tournament.
Yeah.
But I think that this side can go for Clinkett. They would have had their problems last year, gelling and stuff like that. Christopher Gill is no longer there.
You got a new coach in Floyd Reefer.
Yeah. That move has caused, and a lot of people would not say it, but I would say it would cause the likes of Carlos Braffett and Nicholas Curtin.
And Colin,
who he has played with, who he has coached for CCC.
I mean,
across.
The reason that I like this side so much, I have this side as the underdog side, the side that the sleeping lion side that no one is looking at, but it's such a good all-round side that could be very, very, very dangerous. You got the likes of Asif Ali, who does really well for Pakistan. But when you look at how this side is set up, right, it is it sets up perfectly for players to be able to express themselves.
Yes.
Express themselves.
Chadwick
right?
Walker.
Right, you got Chadwick at the top, and I ain't sure who opened the innings. Glenn Phillips. Glenn Phillips at the top. So you come and we would have seen Nicholas Curtin, who you talked about just now. He would have bat three, right? But his role in that team, right, as a player, is so. I mean, as a player going into the T20 format, this is the most comfortable I think Nicholas Curtin could possibly be as a batsman, because when you go into a side and you batting around guys like Chadwick Walton, who you know gonna go. You got Glenn Phillips, who you know gonna go, right? You come at 3, but then you got guys coming after you like Russell. You got guys like Carlos Brathwaite. You got Rovman Powell. All these guys coming behind you. It sets it up perfectly for you to actually just get in, stroke around the ball, and then be able to express yourself. A runner ball from Nicholas Curtin in every game, or at least majority of the games, we could consider him a good buck for their money. In terms of the Tallows, I think is a very good side. Preston McSween, left arm pacer, would have just traveled with the
West Indies squad.
Underrated left arm pacer, in my opinion. Doesn't really get a good luck. We would have been here for the Pride a couple of years ago, not really getting to showcase his skills. But going back to the Windward Islands, he would have done fairly well last year in the first class format. I know you can say this. We got Versamy Pamal, and his record at the first class level is very good as a left arm spinner. I know you don't rate him as a spinner.
I still think that he's the worst left arm spinner that West Indies has produced. He's down there, and I would say he's down there, Clinkett.
I am not going to comment on that at all. All I would say is they set up the side really good because you got guys at Fida Iris, agent campaigner, but still very skillful. We know what he does inside England with the County Hampshire. You still got guys like Ocean Thomas, who's the fastest bowler probably in the Caribbean, right? But then you still got guys like Rahman, who's a proper spinner.
Then you have guys like Sandeep Lamishan that
would have done really good last year for the Traders. Right, exactly.
In my opinion, my humble opinion, I think that this side is set up to chase 200 regular.
I think that, but it's also set up that they can restrict guys to 130.
I don't think that they would restrict guys often. They may do it to the Zooks. I saw the play the other day and restrict them to 160 odd, but or 150 odd, if I'm corrected.
On paper,
I just think that this squad is set up to score 200 runs, and
paper,
they have to chase 200 runs.
On paper, I think this side is a really dangerous side.
It is dangerous.
A dangerous side. They have everything set up for them. They got the guys that could go at the top. They got the guys that could bat through, and you still got the guys that could come down the bottom with the ball. Then you got proper all-rounders because you got Carlos, you got Ajay, and you got Rovman, who are going to play every game, right? They could give you 12 overs. Then you still got these spinners who are good as well. So this side is a very dangerous side. Where you have them seated? I can ask where you got them seated.
I got them to be the underdog character, maybe third, fourth, but I'm more lying towards the fourth seeded, in my opinion.
I think fourth is the safe option for us to go here.
Yeah.
Because they finished outside the playoff four last year. I'm going to see them at fourth. I got them to move out at least 2 spots, right? But I still think that they're good enough. Me personally, it's in my mind I want to say third, because I got them to beat out the Amazon Warriors, but we could leave them at 4 for the safe option. If that said, we definitely could move on now to the Amazon Warriors.
The Amazon Warriors, one of my favorite teams in this CPL T20. And why I say one of my favorite teams, because of how they've been structured across the last couple of years. I always speak on youth and how youth is so important for the West Indies going forward. So you have the likes of Hetmayan and Puran, who would have played with them last year. So it's good to see where they would go this year. And I don't know, man. I just think that side is so unpredictable. They have never won a CPL. But let's see how they go this year. You can tell us about the squads.
I actually don't have the original squad on me right now, but I am going to just call the squad that they have on the park at the present moment. You have Chris Green, Anthony Bramble, Shanapal Hemraj, Shimron Hetmeyer, Brandon King, Kisondath, Magram, Ashmead Ned, Kimo Paul, Nicholas Puran, Sherfin Rutherford, Romario Shepard, Kevin Sinclair, Jasdeep Singh, Odin Smith, Imran Tahir, Ross Taylor, Paul, Naveen Al Haq. Tell me what you think about that, say.
I like I said, I like this side. I like this side as an underdog as well.
I don't really want to call them an underdog, no, because
they've been to the finals.
They've been to the finals on many occasions.
Many occasions. I never actually got across the line. But why I like this squad is because of the youth. You have the Hetmeyers, the Rutherfords, the Porans, who going forward, we look at these guys as being the future of the West Indies, limited overs formats. But then you still have the likes of Tanvir who knows how to do it. Tahir, sorry. Who knows how to do it. But my issue, or not issue, that is, and I would have mentioned this to you before, I don't know how Chris Green is captain. I don't know how. I would have given, in my opinion, I don't know the situation with the Guyana Amazon Wars, and I'm only speaking from the outside, but I would have given Shimon Hetmyer the captaincy, seeing that he has been the West Indies under 19 captain before. He would have led them to the title then. He has the potential to be a future West Indies captain in the future. Throw some responsibility on this young man. I think that he should have been the captain.
The reason that I don't like to, while Shimron Hetmyer would have been a better option for me as captain, I always like to remember that this is a franchise and it does not necessarily have anything to do with the West Indies Cricket Board. Why the West Indies Cricket Board facilitates it, and it will do better for the West Indies Cricket Board and him being able to mature as a captain. This is a franchise, and it has to do with winning. It has to do about money. So they're going to pick. They're going to give themselves the best chance to win. So Chris Green as captain, the only reason I could probably look at it and say that you will give him captain is because in the squad, as a franchise T20 star and a player, the experience that he will bring to the table playing in different leagues would be very important for them. That's the only reason that I could see them looking at him as a captain. Well, we look at the squad and we see that the squad is really good. I really do agree with you in terms of the youth of this side. It packed such a big punch. We would have seen last year that guys like Brandon King coming through. Yeah. Nicholas Puran. We got a lot of time for Nicholas Puran. You know how mention Hetmyer, Shanapur,
Hetmyer, who's only 26 at that.
Very much so, correct. You got guys like Sherfin Rutherford, Odin Smith, Romario Shepard. All these guys would have done fairly well in the T20 format, and they're Kimo Paul. We would have not seen all these guys
who would have won the title with
Hetmyer. Right. So we see these guys as potentially stars, big stars moving forward. And that's why this side is so dangerous. If Ghana could keep this side together, we would have seen they would have got a lot of dividends last year from the youth. Brandon King obviously don't have any more runs. Nicholas Puran being able to perform. They don't have the likes of Shoaib Malik, but Chris Green as a bowler, very important. So that's the only reason I could probably look back on it. Because when you look at this side, the only other captain I could probably have gone with is Ross Taylor. Because we know his record as an international player. But
and he's captain New Zealand as well.
Very much so. But we don't know the background.
I mean, but the Ross Taylor comment, you said it. It is a franchise thing and all WICB thing.
Yeah.
But Chris Green also would have been with the Guyana Amazon Wars for the last.
Exactly. So he knows his setup campaign. Yes.
So fair enough. But I just favor.
I would have. If it was up to me, I would have gone with Hetmyer as a captain.
I don't know the situation in the Guyana Amazon Warrior squad, but I just think that this young man has so much potential to be a very good captain. He's aggressive as a player, so I want to see him as a captain, how he can apply this trade to other players. A man in a squad, a man in a team to win games for Guyana. Hetmyer should have been captain, and I'm going to say Hetmyer should have been captain.
What I can say about this team is that Hetmyer needs to lose some weight.
Oh boy.
You've seen him, and he really enjoyed his quarantine period. We can say that. Right?
He had a bit to eat.
Yeah,
he looked.
I was discussing this with some people, and they were talking about the weight of some of the players and said this, and people were asking it, the clothes too big.
But Clinkett get him much. The camera does add some weight.
Yes, some weight. Not all of the weight. And this is not me body shaming anyone, but I just think as a professional, like for instance, Puran. We would have seen Puran during the quarantine period posting some pictures on Instagram, and we would have seen him coming down low in his body fat and looking really trim and really ready to get back to playing cricket. But then when they see the likes of Hatmar, it makes me think like you had a little too much curry, buddy. You know what I mean? A little too much curry. Wait, I said curry, but
somebody would have drawn reference and said that he needs to lose a little bit of weight before he goes to the IPL.
Badri would have commented on his weight last night.
Yeah, but I just think that's something that he struggles with. Would have seen him couple series ago being dropped from the West Indies squad.
Yeah.
For the same fitness
reasons,
not passing a fitness test. I don't know what would have happened if it was injury-wise or what, but if it was injury, they would say he's not.
Yeah,
he's
not able
injured.
not able to perform.
But he failed the fitness test, and he wasn't taken in that series.
I can be wrong, but this is my take on certain things. I think that while every person is allowed to have a job, certain job comes with certain responsibilities.
Yes.
Right? And when you are put in the spotlight, you have a certain responsibility to be a professional. You are a professional cricketer. You're not just a cricketer, you're a professional cricketer. As far as you're concerned, some of the major things that you have to make sure that you are ready, your skills have to be up to standard, your fitness has to be up to standard, right? And your body has to be up to standard. Right? You are paid a certain amount of money as a professional for you to be able to do certain things and to perform at a certain way. I will not question his performances because he's still doing well, right? We would have seen him having 2 half centuries in the tournament already. But me personally, I think that the weight that he would have put on, I have no doubt that he will work it off. But I think to be ready for the competition, I think that is one thing as a cricketer that you should be ready to.
This obviously is something that he is struggling with, and it can't be coming up so often.
Yeah,
we would have seen previous players struggle with this. Even
right, and
so it is a very, very, very touchy topic, but it is something that needs to be addressed. The fitness of these players and when they go in the downtime, what they're doing,
if they need to be monitored. And I don't think at 20, as a man and as a professional cricketer, I don't think that I should be, as a West Indies Cricket Board, checking up to see if you're doing your work. Yes, I think I should be checking in, but I don't think I should be running you down or having to ask you to hire a chef, ask you to hire a trainer. I think like for the best of you, that's what you should want as a player. But with that said, this side is still a good side.
It's a very good side.
It's a good side. And with that said, I'm going to ask you where you have them seated.
And I'm going to be the controversial one. But I actually have them seeded second.
Oh, you're going second. Remind you, we have not seeded the Tridents as yet.
Yes.
We have not seeded the Tridents as yet, so you have them second.
Second.
Just to recap, ladies and gentlemen.
The safer option would have obviously been third, but I just think that those young guys are obviously showing with what they can do and they can take again. Once the bowling goes well, I think that Guyana can finish second.
So to recap, ladies and gentlemen, so far we have my picks. I have the Patriots to be 6th, the Zooks to be 5th, the Talos to be 4th, and I'm going to call the Ghana Amazon Warriors in 3rd. That is my seedings. Commie seeding so far. I have not seeded the Tridents as yet. Commie has, but based on my picks, you can see that I have the Tridents in the top 2.
Yes.
Based on Commie's picks,
my picks are Zooks last, Tridents in 5th.
Tridents?
Sorry, not Tridents, sorry. The Patriots
okay.
in 5th. Talawas in 4th. I have not seeded a 3rd spot as yet. And the second would be the Guyana Amazon Warriors.
Okay. We can take a break here again, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the Trinbago Knight Riders. You'll find out who we have where we have the Tridents to be seeded and what we really think about how the competition will go, and then we will end off. All right, we're back again.
Here.
Got one final team to talk about, and that is
the horse.
You say a horse. I'm going to say the favorites to win their 4th title.
My favorites as well. So I've said that at the beginning of the podcast. Favorites: Trinidad and Tobago, Trinbago Knight Riders.
The good thing about the Knight Riders is I don't think they had any replacement.
No, they haven't. They haven't lost any players. We would have addressed that at the beginning. This is the only side that doesn't have any changes. So they would have kept the same core that they would. The same players that they would have wanted at the beginning.
Yes.
And transferred them. You would have lost like the likes of Ramden, like you said earlier.
The only person that I'm not. Oh, sorry. Well, I'm seeing him here. Yes.
Seifert would have come in and play his trip. You know what he does for New Zealand. But I have this squad to do well. This squad has one of the most destructive off spinners. I can't even say.
Well, you can't really call it off spinner. You gotta call it all rounder now.
He's a very big. He comes at the top and just destroys players. Destroys the team.
This side is
that boy no rain. Sunil no rain.
Really, but yes, they have the Indian player Pravin Tambe. I think he was one of the first Indians to play outside.
Yeah, but I was fairly shocked at that pick. Pravin Tambe being very. I mean, he would have played.
Is he 40?
He would have played for in the IPL. He would have played in the IPL, and at his age, would have he been a good pick? I don't know, but maybe he can give you value for dollar. Maybe he can give you value for dollar.
Sorry, he's not even 40. He's 48 years old.
See, nearing 50.
48 years old. That's amazing.
Mr. Ezra Mosley, if you're listening to this, you should take up your bowling boots, buddy. You still have a chance. You still have a chance.
We don't need to reach so far.
Ezra could still come and bowl that little.
We don't need to reach. You're not reaching that far. You know. Take it. It means always want to carry.
I know. I would love to see Ezra running into bowl at Jason. That would be a good battle.
What I mean, back in secondary school?
Yeah,
for certain. It was a good battle back in secondary school. No, I think it's gone past me. We could say that what we were saying all podcast, this episode, past his best.
Past his best.
I don't think way past his best. Right. But looking at this side, Dwayne Bravo, Kieran Pollard, Sunil Narine, Colin Munro, Fawad Ahmed, Darren Bravo, Leonard Simmons, Kerry Pierre, Tim Seifert, Sikandar Raza, Anderson Phillip, Pravin Tambe, Jaden Seals, Ahmed Jangu, Tion, Webster, Aki Hussein.
Well balanced side. Well balanced side. You have the legs in the ring coming at the top.
The reason that
really good ball
side is so strong is they are the complete opposite to the St. Lucia Zooks. Their homegrown players are
very good.
Too good. Don't want
known internationally.
Exactly.
As marquee players.
There are at least 3 or 4 of these players that could be marquee stars, franchise players,
and
any
players,
of these sides.
Players that have done well
in the T20 format.
In the T20 format or in many overseas formats. You have the IPL, the Big Bash, the English T20 league. But these Leonard Simmons, Narine,
very much so.
Pollard. Bravo.
Both Bravos.
Yeah. You have Colin Munro.
Kerry Pierre.
Tim
Seifert.
Seifert. So you got so much guys who on the day you can call on.
Very much so. Which makes them the most dangerous side in the competition. And there ain't really much to say about this side. Where do you have them seated?
I have them favorites. I have them playing at home.
I have them to be first as well.
I have them as favorites. I would say favorites to win the league.
but not to win. Oh yes, I have them by the time the playoff series. I have them to be first.
Start to be first. I want the Tridents to win. I want the Tridents.
Yes, I want the Tridents.
I would love the Tridents to win. I'm a Bajan fan. I might be a little biased because I'm Bajan, but I want the Tridents to win. But having said that, at the end of this group stage, this playoff stage, I believe that the Trinbago Knight Riders will be first.
I have them to be first as well. So
I believe that they will.
Looking back on it, definitely the seedings. I want us to have our seedings, and then at the end, I want us to tell me who you have to win.
Who are your
seedings?
Your favorites and your seedings.
My seedings, we would have seen in the end. I have the Patriots to be last. I have the Zooks to be fifth. The Talos to be fourth. I have the Amazon Warriors to be third. I have the Tridents to be second. And I have Trinbago to be the top at the end of the group stage.
Yeah, you would have seen that I have a little different. I would have started with the Zooks, proper jobby team. The Patriots are going to be fifth, in my opinion. Talawas fourth. A lot of people will give me stick for this one, but I have the Tridents to be third. The Guyana Amazon Warriors to finish second, and the Trinbago Knight Brothers to top it all off and win that stage of the tournament. I don't know, man. I just think that hopefully this CPL goes well. We know the fans and stuff that we would have touched on at first, but from what we can see so far with the first stage of the games coming off, it's fun, and it's going to be fun, and hopefully it still carries on the party.
So who you have to win? Who you have to win at the end?
Tridents.
I know you being biased.
Who I have to be the finalist with? The
finalists, yes. That would be better. The finalists. Who you have to be the finalists?
If I say Tridents will win that game against the Talawas. If we stick into the same format,
your seeding,
to my seedings and the format that the CPL would have been before, the Tridents will beat the Talawas. That game will be very fishy, very hot. Then I have the Tridents to actually, I think that it will be a Guyana Barbados final.
Again? For the second year running?
For the second year.
All right. So I have the finalists to be the Trinbago Knight Riders and the Tridents for certain. I think it will be a brilliant battle in the finals because I think Barbados has the best bowling side, and I think Trinidad has the best all-round side to challenge in terms of bowling. I don't think their fast bowling is as good. I think Dwayne Bravo's pass is best. I don't think their fast bowling options are that good. Straight. But you have the guys like Narayan and Kerry Pierre, and then you still got Bravo and Fawad Ahmed and those kind of guys. So I think it would be a good bowling game, and whoever then it leaves it up to whoever then will be better with the bat. That's how I think that game will come out. But as those are the two finalists that I have to play for the title, for the coveted trophy.
I'm sticking to my opinion, Clinkett, and my opinion is my opinion. That's yours. And with that being said, we will close off the FourPlay podcast.
We sign out again. Just
be sure to go and follow the social podcast on IG and YouTube as well. We have a lot of content going on. There are many other different podcasts. You can pick which one you like. Watch them all actually. And we hope that you do like them. But from here at the Social Podcast and FourPlay, that's Commie.
I'm Clinkett, and we out of here.